Hello, hello everyone. Yeah, here I am. So, yeah, welcome to our first live here in Game Design Thinking. I will assume you can hear me correctly. It's my first live, so if you can type in the chat if you hear me and see me okay, see everything okay, that will be mega. So yeah, in the meantime, if you don't know still, you can follow us. Let me here in Instagram. You can also head to our page on YouTube. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, this is our live portfolio session. It was from an idea from yourselves, from the followers of Game Design Thinking. So that's great. And yeah, the idea is to review your portfolios, give feedback. So yeah, who am I? That is probably the first thing. I am Gabriel Chauri. I am a game designer with more than 6 years of experience. I have experience in system design, in game design, but I also have experience in teaching. I started as a musician a few years ago, teaching as a music teacher, so I have some experience on that. And I also have some experience as a web developer, so I have kind of let's say a rough idea of how to create a web page, and I have some graphic design background, so that has helped me to basically work on my portfolio. So yeah, the idea is to give feedback on your portfolio, and yeah, so let's get to it. I will make myself smaller, and I will just start from the order in which you send me your portfolio. So the first thing is I apologize for any name that I mispronounce. That's the first thing. So yeah, this is the portfolio from Mason Ahmed. So yeah, the first thing here is that the header of a portfolio of any website really is the first thing you see when you enter the website. And here you can see you have a video of your projects. But the problem with that is that that communicates only your like the project, not yourself. So it's great to have a video, but it could be better to have the video with the, let's say, information, like your information. So you have, for example, your info here. You have a very good description of yourself and your experience. This description is actually great. Like you have a lot of experience. So it will be great to highlight your main experience points here along with the video. Again, because here you are focusing more on the content rather than in yourself and your experience. And yeah, regarding the description, as I said, it's very good, but it will be great also if it will be a bit shorter. I usually try to not go more than 3 paragraphs. It's like this thing like the rule of threes, in which you always go in set of 3 things, right? So it works great as a constraint, as you know, as a game designer, we need to work within constraints. So I think that 3 paragraphs is a good constraint to work here. Even if you have like a lot of experience, you can maybe go into more depth in some other page. And for this section, the section of projects, again, you have a lot of experience, and in very big projects, so that's great. But the thing is that it takes a while to get into the information of what you have done. So for example, here you enter the MMA Manager 2 section, and you have all the information of the project. Then you have a video, the buttons to download, then the overview again of the project, an image, and at the end of all of that, your duties. And this should be probably the first information, because again, people are not, or a potential employer probably will care more about your duties in the project instead of like the project itself. They are probably going to hire you not only because of the games that you have worked on, but on your duties and your process, and let's say yourself, not the games. So yeah, that's something that you should include first instead of all the information about the game. So yeah, I will use the time meanwhile I scroll to say hello to everybody. I have seen a message from JJ, Daniela, Kobe, Muhammad, Dinosaur, amazing videos, so glad to see you here. And yeah, it's the same for every of your projects. You have like a lot of info, and you can maybe put your duties first, because again, it doesn't require like a lot of explanation of the project to understand your duties on that. So for example, if you say here, define and design the layout of the game and how players will interact, it's like kind of general, so you don't need to give a lot of overview about the project. So yeah, this again, you have a lot of experience, that's great, but you should focus more on communicating your process and your experience first instead of the content and the games. So for the next one, this is from Sadya Prasad. So yeah, you can see the same problem, let's say. So here, a lot of focus on the content instead of your experience. It's a very minimalist page, which can work. I have seen that work before, but you should probably give a bit more of info about yourself first. Again, a lot of focus on the content of the project, which is nice, but people will hire you, not your game. So oh yeah, that we will take that idea for the next one, like chatting on the Discord. That's a good one. Yeah, so for example, if I go here on the about myself section, you should put some of the info right here in the heading. And for the projects, this is also something that I remember from my days as a web developer. You should always try to reduce the, let's say, the number of clicks to get to something. And here, for example, if I press the projects, I have to press another time to get there, and then I have to scroll to get to the actual information. So those were 2 clicks and a scroll, which is a lot to get some, let's say, info about your process, about your experience. And the other thing with this one is more on the graphic side, which is that it's kind of difficult to see the fonts. They are quite small. I mean, I don't know if you can see them on the live, but I see them like quite small. And also the color is not, it doesn't generate a lot of contrast with the background. So I will use like a white color maybe, and maybe change to a color instead of a gradient, use just a single color. So that's more on the graphic side, let's say. And it's kind of similar to Mason Ahmed's portfolio, in the sense that you have a big image of the game, like the play now, the info, the overview, and at the end of everything, it's your contribution. So your contributions should be the most important part of your portfolio and the projects you have worked on. Let's go to the next one. So this one is from Umesh Kumar Reddy. So here we have a portfolio that it's like very graphically, let's say, it looks more graphic design intensive. You have all these containers that look like very cool. Going straight away to the graphic design side, you can see that some of the panels here are like failed for some reason. That happens a lot. Actually, I will show my portfolio later. It's made in Notion, as you said, like Melo Mancheto. But it is actually my backup portfolio. My main one failed. It was a WordPress, and I still can't recover the website, but Notion works great. And you can see here that it fails because the more complex the structure you use, and it's WordPress or Squarespace, or in this case I think it's Doric, it's more prone to fail, right? So with the info, the contents of this portfolio, I think that the main problem I see is the opposite from Mason's one. Here you have a lot of information, and I said like try to use 3 paragraphs. Here you, Umesh, that I can see you are here in the live. So hello. It too little information. So in this case, you are stating facts. So you are a computer science undergraduate. You are a game and narrative designer with experience of more than 2 years. But you should also communicate, let's say, what makes you special, right? What are your strengths, your main points main experience points that you have acquired on those 2 years working as a game and narrative designer. That's the most important part. Like, separate yourself from the rest of the designers that will be applying for the same position as you. So you should, let's say, market yourself a bit more here, right? And for this one, you have here some documents. So the thing with these documents is that it's the output of your work, which, again, it can work, but people like potential employers will probably be more focused on your process behind creating this, not necessarily the output, the final thing that you completed, right? It could be a game, a document. Let's say a potential employer probably won't play your game because you have to think that they have a lot of things to do, right? And probably playing 10, 20 games from everyone that is applying for the job is not feasible with the time at hand. So you should focus on explain your process in just a few points. So here you can see that these points are good. If you can show, for example, some work in progress of this, that could also be massive for improving your portfolio. And yeah, that's the let's say the main problem with this. You need to give a bit more of information about yourself. So coming into the world of Notion, if you don't know, Notion is it's a website, let's say, for organizing your thoughts and information. It's very powerful. It's free, and you can also, I have seen a lot of people creating portfolios on Notion, and I think it works great because it's very easy to make. You don't need any let's say very deep knowledge about graphic design or web development. So that's very useful. You won't invest a lot of time. So yeah, this portfolio is from Numan Mughal. I like the structure of this portfolio. Actually, you have the image here and you have the text here, and this is let's say minor thing, but it's very important. You should always try to put your image on the left and the text on the right. Why is that? Because let's go back to this one. You can see that here between the image and the text, the dents will be kind of ragged, right? You have all these lines that kind of clash with the image here. While here, the text, of course, is left aligned, so you don't have that kind of mountains between the text and the image. And it's let's say it kind of a small thing, but it really makes easier to read the text. The description here is amazing. Here Numan doesn't have like a lot of experience. He's just finishing the studies, but the description is very, very good. You can see that here it starts with the basic info like name and location. Then you have let's say the information about school, passion about games. That's very good. And then communication about the experience. So here approximately 1+ year of experience, of work experience. That's very good. And at the end, just additional information. So in this case, freelance services related to video compositing and motion graphics. So it's a very good structure. Like first, your personal information, then your work related experience, and then some additional information. Then you have the description of tools and skills. I like this. By the way, as a person that have hired before, I don't like a lot when people put the skills like, for example, 3 out of 5 or a progress bar with 80 out of 100% is my personal option. I don't like it. Why? Because it's kind of difficult to understand what does it mean. Like, what does it mean like 3 out of 5 or 80% of 100% skills on Unity? Maybe if you want to communicate that you are like very experienced or highly experienced on Unity, you should put I'm highly experienced on Unity or things like that. It's way easier. And if you go into more detail, so for example, 5+ years of Unity engine experience, that's better. Like the more detailed you are without writing a very long text, it's far better to communicate really your skills and your and the tools that you know how to use. The video, that's very good. That's very good. I think we haven't seen like portfolio videos, or let's say demo reels, portfolio reels. This is something that you should always try to create, even if it's a short video like 1 minute. That will be amazing for potential employers to check your information. You should try to think that probably the potential employers are very busy doing a lot of stuff, and if you present them with a 1 or 2 minute video with your main experience points, with the main projects that you have worked on, that it's amazing. It's an amazing way for getting noticed. And on that note, I would like to say that you have to remember that the portfolio is not for it's not for getting hired directly necessarily. Is to put more eyes on your work, right? Is to get more interviews, not necessarily to get the job. That's part of the interview process, which is another beast that maybe we can talk about that in another live session. But yeah, that's another thing. So you should always have to think that this is for getting more interviews and getting more eyes in your work. So yeah, that's very important to remember. Here for the portfolio reel, I noticed that you put the video on Google Drive, but it took a while. Now, of course, it loaded immediately, but the first time that I opened the page, it took a while to load. So I will say, if you are going to embed a video, maybe try to embed it from YouTube, which is way faster to play videos. And yeah, the quality of the video is amazing. It seems that you have some experience on motion graphics. So yeah, that's great. A great video. And also it has I don't remember if this one has a video description. I don't think that you are, let's say, talking on this video, but that could be something to think about. Maybe if you want to go above and beyond, you can describe what's happening there. But yeah, I know that's something that like extra. Yeah, here in LinkedIn, you don't have the correct link. If you can see there on the bottom of the screen, it goes to an empty link of LinkedIn. So it will be it will link to my profile, my LinkedIn profile. So you see, because it has only this part, you should put your name here on the second part. So that's a tiny detail that I noticed. And then you have the thesis section. And this one, again, it's very, very good. You should use the full width in Notion. If you don't know where is that, here I can show in my Notion. So here in the top right section, you have the full width. You should use that because it will give more space to your text. So yeah, you should use that. But yeah, this look amazing. You should put more space to show that. Yeah, so I can see that. Yeah, many people are asked to add subtitles. Yeah, because it makes sense to give, let's say, more flow to the video. So yeah, we are going to go to the last portfolio here. So this is from Junsu Jang. I also like a lot this one. I like that you use a very strong color here, so that catch the attention immediately. That's very good. And yeah, for the message that Junsu sent me on the form, it also said like the idea is to get more interviews, and that's completely spot on. It's the idea of a portfolio is to get more eyes in your work, not necessarily getting hired. So that's why you should try to communicate it very very swiftly, your information. So for example, here is, hi, I'm Junsu, I design systems and spaces for games. So this is also very good, very good. You don't necessarily stated a fact directly, right? You could have said, I am a system and level designer. But here Junsu preferred to say, I design systems and spaces for games, which is kind of more general, but also give you a bit more to think. So it's a very good, a very short description, very like to the point, but it catch your attention immediately. And again, as I said with the image, the same with Numan, you have the image on the left and the text on the right, and the same here. So that's very good. So for this one in the project section, also Junsu made something that is very, very useful. I think that the only problem with this portfolio is that it takes a lot to load. Like you can see that here it's supposedly a video will load, and you can see there it is, the images, probably because it has a lot of images and maybe they are too big, but you should always try to add images that are not that heavy, because it can take a while to load this, or the videos, again, it can take some time to load if you have a lot of information. So that's also something that I remember from my days in web dev. You should try to divide and conquer if you have too much information into one, or try to put images together. Like the size is not necessarily, you have to go, let's say 1920 per 1080, right? You shouldn't go like full screen. Something smaller, even 800 and 600 will work good. But yeah, going back to the content and the projects, here a very good thing is that Junsu wrote the information as a, let's say, as an essay. So you can see the contents as a synopsis, playthrough, download instruction, and then all the process behind that: ideation, game design, level design. And if you go here, you can see the playthrough and project synopsis is very short. And even if it takes, let's say, a while to get to that information, the adding a contents, like a content list, it's very good to know what to expect. So this is a very well put portfolio. You can see that in this game design section, it has some diagrams, some work in progress here, which is I guess the most important takeaway that you should take from this live session, is that potential employers will be more interested on your process, or on your design process, rather than the games that you have worked on. So that's very important to communicate, especially if you don't have like a lot of experience, because when you have more experience and you have worked on different projects, of course you can't put information about things that you're working on your company, right? Or those that you have worked before, because maybe you have an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so you can't possibly put an image of a work in progress. But if you don't have a lot of experience and these are your personal projects or university projects, you should use that. Like 100% you should use that, because that's the best way to get some eyes on your work. And of course we are talking about game designers here, so game designers love to see this kind of things, like this kind of diagrams. I mean, I don't even know what is this, but if you say to me like I can create a diagram like that, that's great. Like I love to see that. And you have to remember, especially as a game designer, that you have to write documents for different stakeholders, right? Sometimes it's a publisher, sometimes it's the CEO, sometimes it's your team. And your portfolio should be for two main audiences. One is probably HR, human resources, which will be probably the first step towards filtering your portfolio and your resume. And then you have to cater the information for the lead game designer, or the creative director, right? So a lead game designer, a creative director will like to see this work in progress, while some HR generalists probably will like to see that you have like a very well put portfolio with your basic information here. So yeah, again, this is a very well put portfolio. You can see that the projects are not only like presented in a few points, but it has all the information of the process behind that. And adding documents, adding images, GIFs, videos, gives a bit more of rhythm to the document. So you should try to use that when you can. Here for the resume and the contact, I mean, I like the image, nothing against that. Maybe you can try to put the resume like right away instead of adding another click, but it's a very small, and the image is great, it helps a lot, but maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense until you go to also the contact section. But yeah, it's a small thing, it's nothing major, and overall the portfolio looks very good, very very clean. Yeah, as I said, like I had to I wanted to show my personal portfolio just to put myself also in this review. I had, as I said, a WordPress, but it failed like 2 weeks ago or something like that, so I created this one as a backup. And you can see that, of course, I use a lot of things that I already said. Oh, that was your portfolio. Oh. Would you also recommend shortening them? No, I don't think so. Because one good thing about your portfolio, Junsu, is that it has a very good rhythm. you mix text with videos with images. So even if a person won't read everything, again you can see that you put some diagrams, some videos, some work in progress. That's enough to communicate what is your experience here. So yeah, I wouldn't shorten by any means. So yeah, you can see here it's a video, like a portfolio video with some of my projects. This is very old, by the way. This is like 2021. I need to work on my portfolio. It's typical, like I'm talking about portfolio, but I have a very outdated portfolio reel. But yeah, I mean, this helped me to get a job eventually. So, but yeah, you can see that here I put some of my personal projects or some projects that I work on, like bigger companies. Let's say I have a short description. Again, 3 paragraphs. My main like who am I, what I do well, and what's my main experience. That's probably how I put myself when I present myself in talks or in my portfolio. Here for the tools section, I put the images just because it's easier to see. This is actually an image. You can see that it's a whole image that I imported. I created this using Figma, which is something that you can use if you use Notion, like make use of images and embed them here. And yeah, I put my main experience using this database also because I wanted to like make the portfolio a bit more graphic, let's say, right? In the sense that adding a bit more aesthetics, adding some images from the companies. This is, of course, game design thinking, some personal projects. And here I have just a short description of my experience on those companies. And yeah, that's my portfolio. Here's some education, some of the main skills points. And again, if you can, for example, go into a bit of detail because on how you got that experience and what makes you good at it. So for example, in system design, I have experience designing, representing, and balancing complex systems using spreadsheets, Figma, and other tools. It's like very short, but I hope that communicates why I am good at system design. And that's like the main point of all that skills section, which is something that you, for example, here can use to fast prototyping. Maybe you can go into a bit of detail on what have you done with those fast prototyping. Maybe I don't know, you have achieved, you have presented a game that was green lighted using fast prototyping or something like that. Like go into a bit of detail about like try to be very specific about your skills and your tools on how you have acquired that experience. So yeah, I mean that's it for today actually. So yeah, that was it. Again, I'm very grateful that you are here. I'm again very grateful that you proposed this. I know that 2 or 3 people proposed this either by DMs or on our Tuesday Q&A sections, which today we didn't have that on Instagram, but we have this live session. So I plan to maybe mix a bit more of Instagram and YouTube and all our socials. And then again, you can go to Instagram, to let's say Instagram there, to our webpage, and of course you are here on YouTube. But If you can spread the word, that will be massive. And again, I'm very grateful for you being here. And that's it. I hope to see you soon, maybe in another live, on our Instagram posts, on our course. We have, as you maybe know, our main course on basic game design tools and techniques. And we are working on a course about GDD that will be very soon, also on Udemy and our webpage. So yeah, thank you very much. I see you soon. Thank you for sending your portfolios, and thank you for being part of this. See you. Bye bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye.